Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and it's that moment at least that I've been waiting for. It's time for none other than our weekly painting progress. Hopefully you've been looking forward to it too, because I got a bunch of stuff painted. Whether or not it's of any artistic merit is always up to debate, and for whatever reason I'm looking at the bases, which looked fine when I was spraying them outside on a somewhat strangely cool and cold December morning here in Southern California. And I had them all kind of frosting up again. And I'm wondering what's going on here. You can see a little bit. Probably one of my favorite minis that I did this week was Koromon, a early stage Digimon from Erkman's Minis, which, shock of shocks, I was going to paint because I've been waiting to do some Digimon. Anyways, you can see a little bit, see how it kind of frosted there on the front, and I don't know if that's, I'm thinking it's the matte sealer, because when I glossed it, I always like to give them a gloss and then seal them with the matte, but it also gives it kind of that funky satin look, and I will be the first to admit that I didn't do the best job of cleaning these guys up. It's always the case with the 3D prints. I am kind of pleased with his eyes, though. They're more purple in real life. It was a purplish red. I believe the actual cell reference stuff from the anime was actually like a red color, but it works. I will do the Bokomon eventually, which is the even more early baby Digimon version of it. But you may not recognize this guy, but you probably recognize this one if you were of a certain age watching this stuff. And again, I know I don't do the best job of removing all those tiny little supports, but we did do an Agumon to go along with it. And you better believe it that I've already got a Greymon ready to go. Whether I finish it anytime soon is a different story, but it will be painted nonetheless. And again, so look at this one. There's a little bit of that frosting, but not as much. It's weird. I don't get it. And so since I'm just kind of going on a roll here with the Erkman's Minis, went ahead and did this lady. If you play a lot of phone games, you might recognize her. If you look at a lot of interesting fan art online for the Fate universe, you might recognize her. But this is Minamoto no Raiko, who is a character that's been around for quite some time. And I had to look at her for a moment and, oh yeah, she is a Lancer type, even though I don't think she actually uses the Lance for a bulk of her attacks. The face isn't doing it for me. I don't know. I think it's the bangs. I think the bangs are too flat. Something about the face, I don't know. And the eyes, but that's more my painting than anything. And I had no idea where the green lines on her armor go exactly. And I was going to do some highlights on these energy flame things going on, and I forgot to do that. So again, that is one of the challenges with the 3D model stuff, is sometimes I have a hard time discerning where things are actually supports and where things are supposed to be. I also broke off, she has these little two pom-pom tassel things that are always supposed to be hanging off the end of her sword there. And they did print fine, and I actually got them off the supports fine, but when I was cleaning her off, that's when they snapped. Sadly. Can't see it, but the ribbons on the sides are supposed to be a different shade of purple than her hair. She's also quite tall, and you'll see there's no little strange frosting going on really on her base. I don't know why that is. That's just kind of bizarre. No clue. So I like Erkman's stuff a lot because he's kind of doing, a lot of the funkier, lesser known animes, video games, things like that. But the scale, if you're unprepared, can be a little big, because here is a War Games Atlantic Goth, which makes a absolutely perfect, just generic Dark Age archer. Again, with the base being weird. But you can see he barely goes up to her belly button. So these figures are probably scaled more like Conquest size. I'm looking around. I actually put all my Conquest stuff away. Nope, I found one guy. I found a crossbowman from the starter set. And even he's kind of shorter than her. So, just something to be aware of. If you have issues with scale and you want everything nice and cohesive, you might want to tweak it just a teeny tiny bit. So like I said, I got to double check. I don't remember if you have enough bow and arrow arms in a box to supply an entire set of goths with, you know, range stuff. But just the fact that we have that option at least is always a plus. I mean, just the generic tunic, you don't have to obviously put a helmet on them. It helps. And I don't even know if that's his helmet. It might have been a helmet off of one of the late Romans. Oh, I don't think so. Maybe it was a goth set. Hard to say. But eventually they'll go fight each other on some tabletop somewhere. Alright. I think this is one of the last of the printed stuff. This was from Artisan Guild. And I did an awful job on her shirt. But I think her skin came out okay for the most part. I know it's super zoomed in. At least from a distance, I don't think it's going to be as bad or as noticeable if I do a subpar job. Like I said, from a distance, everything looks great. Only the Digimon came out decent this week. But yeah, this was like from their kind of Norse-inspired Dwarven set. I thought it was a cool one. I want to say this was their pinup. They may have done a version of her without a top. Wouldn't surprise me. Alright, what other printed stuff did we do? So, these were pretty cool. Again, with the weird base issues. These are the warriors from Lord of the Print for December. They did almost an entire army, which was quite impressive. Almost as impressive as the Tarask that they just released. I don't know if that's going to actually go to my mini factory or if it's just for the month, but if you want big giant models, you better believe I already started printing it. I'm almost a third of the way through. No, 2/3 of the way through. I think I have the base, and that's about it. So you can probably expect to see it on this channel in the upcoming weeks. So I did 2 of these guys. They have all sorts of versions. Sadly, they're not totally modular. They are kind of pre-designed to fit certain roles. But I love the spikiness. I like the blades. They have, you know, dual weapons, single-handed weapons, shield and hand weapon. I don't think there were any archers. There was definitely cavalry, definitely heavy infantry, definitely a king on a big giant dragon. But they're going to be a little bit smaller than traditional Chaos Warriors if you wanted to mix them into a warband. I don't think they would really work. They're a lot more skinny as well. If you wanted to bump up the scale, it probably would work. I would bump it by at least 50%. I think to get a good match on some of the GW stuff. But they're pretty cool looking, I think. And then there's the stuff that I decided on a whim to start painting, and I'm really not pleased with them. And that is some of the plastic Marauders from Mantic. Now, I know it's super zoomed in. He's super glossy and messy, but honestly, I got really frustrated with these guys because it is impossible to tell what's what. Now, probably from a distance, it's not going to be as noticeable. And again, I think I need to deal with the stuff that I'm spraying things with at this point. It's not doing the job as well as I like. I was very plain, very simple, and I really probably need to go back over these and touch them up, to be perfectly honest. Sadly, they don't really match the original Marauders I painted. Again, weird issues with the base, only on the black paint. Nothing on the darker grays and blacks on his clothing. I don't get it. It's just the bases. It's super weird. Like, I love how strapped up they are. You know, they've got all their webbing, all their gear everywhere. But I found the arms just super duper limited. Which is interesting because you can actually use them with the Rift Forged Orcs, they work out really well. But the same issue I had with the Rift Forged Orcs, where everything just kind of blends and mushes into each other on the sides of the legs, was even worse with these guys. Well, I mean, you could see where I've at least tried to paint some straps, but like on the left foot here, it just kind of, I don't know what's going on. And like, again, this left leg, I don't know what's going on here exactly. It all just kind of mushes together, which is a shame. Never mind the mold lines straight down the face. So I don't know. I'm going to probably go back and goof around with these guys some. I did try to actually do some highlighting, and you can't really see it now. I don't know if that's just because of the gloss. Again, I'm not sure what's going on with the legs. There's like straps or something, but then they don't go anywhere. I'm not 100% sure. It looks like there's a strap I missed there. Oh well. I didn't do the best job with those eyes either. So it's just a shame because busting out my original Dead Zone guys. Maybe I should paint their guns up like that. Match them up a little bit better. I thought these had so much more personality. Knife guy here. He was one of the specialists, if I remember correctly. Again, nothing fancy, nothing special in terms of paint jobs. I just don't feel like they match up well. I don't know. Maybe I just used the wrong colors or something. But these guys are painted, and I swear to God, like 10 years later, oh my God, has it already been like almost a decade at this point? That's insane. I mean, it's been about that long since we got Kingdom Death, but I have still so many painted Dead Zone figures, and I have yet to actually use any of them in an actual game of Dead Zone, which is sad. I have had Marauders in one-page rules games, and Song of Blades and Heroes stuff with some of the Rebs, but I've never actually played Dead Zone. Hopefully, with 2023, oh my God, just saying that is like, oh my God. Hopefully, that is a situation that can get rectified. I've just had, what's it called, Eon Trespass Odyssey show up in its absolutely Kingdom Death style box and intimidate me to the point of, God, am I ever going to get this on the table? I hope so. But man, the figures in that are nice. If you guys want, I can actually go through the box and show off some of the figures in it. They are quite impressive, and from what I'm hearing and seeing online, the game looks to be pretty cool too, and I know they're supposed to open up the Pledge Manager again if people are interested and get those last minute pieces before they close it and sell out of everything from the original print run. So something to keep an eye out. If you guys are interested, we can do that. I don't know what happened to my unpainted trading figure Marine. He seems to have just escaped and disappeared, and I have no idea where. So if you guys know where he is, or if you have him holding him ransom, please let me know. I miss him. I need him. You know what else I need? I keep looking at those new Forge World figures for Necromunda, and then I see the prices, and I just cry. It's like, they're so nice looking. Like the new lady with the servo drones all floating around her, but I don't even know how much she's going to cost. But like the Goliath Champion was $45 alone, US, which was like the price of a box of figures. It's just kind of crazy. But I can't help it. I really want them. So hopefully some of you guys out there can convince me to abstain, or at least find a cool alternative model out there, maybe, in the 3D printing realm. But yeah, I'm going to have to order that one upper crust spire lady, and maybe I'll just... the two of them will probably be like enough for free shipping from Forge World, as sad as that is. At least in the meantime, I can indulge myself with all sorts of fun 3D printed stuff, and it's not like I don't have an absolute pile of things that need painting, so hopefully we will get back to work on that. As always, we'll have the links to this stuff down below if you guys want to track down any of it yourselves. It should not be that hard, and hopefully you will do a much finer job painting it than I do. And if you haven't been picking up those brushes, well, hey, guess what? With 2023 right around the corner, at least as of the time of this being filmed, you have no excuse but to start those New Year's alternatives. Alternatives? That's not the right word. My mind's going blank and it's late here. Okay, I need to wrap it up. Resolutions. When you think of those New Year's resolutions, I think you guys put some paint to brushes and then show it off online, and you can hashtag it with that weekly painting progress, and I'll keep showing my stuff off too, and I look forward to seeing your guys's as well. So, with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and see you back here soon. Bye-bye!